That's right. We're going to do it till we're satisfied. And this is Coach Smith and Love the Game 24/7 coming to you live on YouTube, Facebook, and IG. And I appreciate it if you guys would definitely subscribe, hit that subscribe button on my YouTube channel. Be sure you share all the great content to those you know that are young male and female athletes that need help with their recruiting. And I know there are a lot of young athletes out there and parents that do. So don't hesitate to share Love the Game 24, the underscore symbol, and 7 for Love the Game 24/7 and Coach Smith, as we always are on here talking about how we can help young athletes, especially from the middle school age on up to high school age, and earning themselves a scholarship in their sport that they love and enjoy and believe that they can play at the next level, or they have what it takes to play at the next level. And we want to provide that avenue, that information, the advice, the encouragement, and the know-how on how to get it done. And so I appreciate you guys joining me. Been away for a little minute, busy with some things and with my refereeing that's going on that I've been doing. Just finished up basketball, or I should say football, and we're getting started with basketball is what I've been doing. So I'm trying to figure out my new schedule. And so I got on here this afternoon, this evening, to be sure I give you guys an update. So be sure to let those folks know right now that you know that they can join Coach Smith Live. I won't be long tonight. Just going to give some updates. I'm going to talk about a few things that happened this weekend in college sports, all the upsets and the rankings and all those great things that are happening, and excitement that, a lot of people think just because there's NIL opportunities and the transfer portal that is going to take away from all the parity and the excitement and in college sports. Or we're paying these kids money, and so the game is going to not be the same. Man, the game is just as exciting, if not more exciting, despite, we have the name, image, and likeness opportunities happening for these young college athletes that should have happened a long time ago because of the money that the NCAA has made off of athletes. And it doesn't matter. They made a lot of money off male and female athletes in every sport. Let's just tell it like it is. Let's keep it 100, as they say, the young folks say today, right? Let's keep it a buck, right? And just tell the truth. And so I'm excited for it. And I don't think nothing has been lost in college sports. Okay. No excitement has been lost. It's just as exciting and just as competitive, probably even more competitive, with these young athletes being able to, just train and learn their skill set, their craft in a specific area for those ones who love the game 24/7 and are doing what it takes to be able to perform at a high level every time they step on the field, the court, the pitch, the diamond, whatever it may be, right? So, volleyball court, tennis court, doesn't matter, track. So let's not fool ourselves. This game, college sports, and all the different what did I say? The long time rivalries and all those things, they haven't changed. Those rivalries with different schools and different sports, the rivalries and everything are still just the same. Okay, nothing has changed. All right, about the game, the excitement of the game. Okay. And so, let's just get right into some of the things that happened this weekend. As you can probably see on my TV, I got NFL games going because Coach Smith is always in it to win it. Okay, always trying to keep up on top of things for you young athletes out there and parents. Also getting ready to be heading out to Dallas, Texas in December for the offense, defense, all-star games that'll be happening out there for middle school age kids up to high school age, up to seniors. All-star games that'll be happening from December 26th through the 29th. Be sure to go out to offense and defense and get that information. But they will be playing in Dallas Cowboy Stadium this year for their offense, defense, all-star games. And so just look for more information about that and how you can view that. We'll also be coming with some live interviews and different things of that nature. But like I said, let's get right into what we saw this weekend with all the upsets, right? Oklahoma upsetting Alabama, that stuff happening. Ole Miss getting beat by Florida, you know, Colorado. Even though I'm excited for what Deion is doing, you know, I wish they would have pulled off, but they lost the game against Kansas that I think they should have won and had chances to win. They didn't do what they needed to do to hopefully keep themselves a Big 12 championship. But we'll see how things shake out this next week. But they definitely are going to a bowl game, so that's exciting. You know, so but man, you know, it's just a great time in college sports. You know, and football is getting it going, and now basketball is getting it going. We got the women's volleyball things are winding down or have wind down with that. So there's a lot of excitement, as I said, with college sports. Okay, and football, college football always seems to kick it off. And looking forward to seeing how baseball gets going and lacrosse and all those different things that get going. I think soccer and things are winding down as well, college sports. Then we'll get ready for baseball and softball and track and field and all those other sports that are out there that'll be starting in January. So, but yeah, you know, man, it was just a crazy weekend in college sports and how the rankings are going to be all juggled and turned around, right? So, I mean, if you've viewed that, had a chance to view or watch, you know, college football this weekend and see all the different upsets that happen, man, I mean, what more can I say, right? It's definitely going to be interesting to see how this top 12 that are chosen for the playoffs. I know Lane Kiffin had said some things early in the week about how some teams, you know, might not help them to go to the conference championship, especially if they end up losing, because it could kick them out of the, you know, the top 12 being chosen for the playoffs. You know, and man, it's crazy how, you know, he made that comment and then all of a sudden he goes and gets upset by Florida this past weekend. And being a Floridian, I ain't mad about it. You know, I'm glad to see my Florida teams do well, right? Glad to see Miami. I hated that they lost that game last weekend, but, you know, they bounced back this weekend and got the dub. And they're still ranked in that top 12 and probably should give themselves a chance to win a ACC championship. But hey, what about SMU, right? They just joined the ACC along with several other teams, right? So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, if it ends up with Miami against SMU in that ACC championship, how things are going to shake out there, and then who ends up going to, you know, who else in the ACC and the SEC that will go to the, you know, end up in the top 12. Because right now, from the way it looks, with Alabama having 3 losses, they're out, right? They're gone. Okay, unless something crazy happens this next weekend. But even with some of these teams at the top, you got like Oregon that's still undefeated. Ohio State has 1 loss. Texas 1 loss. You know, Penn State and Notre Dame are 1-loss teams, and that's your top 5, right? And they're shoe-ins. And then you got Georgia with 2 and Tennessee with 2. So Tennessee is still in there, and I like them a lot. I think they had a chance to be undefeated this year, but they had a few little hiccups that caused them, you know, to drop, you know, to 7. But hey, they're still in it. They're just above Miami with some of the, you know, pre-rankings before Tuesday when it comes out officially. But Miami is right there at number 8, SMU 9. So it's going to be pretty interesting that we got some strong ACC teams in there, along with Clemson and who else is in there? Yeah, SMU and Clemson are in there. In the Clemson brings out the final top 12. So yeah, you're looking at probably what, 1, 2, 3, looking at least 3 ACC teams. Let's see how many SEC teams you got. You got Texas, Georgia, Tennessee that are in there, still hanging in there. But yeah, man, what an exciting weekend in college football and what's going to happen. And, you know, it's really going to, you know, cause the NCAA to have some more changes and updates, right? Because we know there's some strong teams in there that there's some things would have gone differently. You know, for Alabama, maybe they might still be, or have, you know, be in a playoff hunt, right? But with those 3 losses, man, you know, even though they may be one of the better teams in the country, they didn't show up when they had the chance and got themselves in a bind with 3 losses, right? So that's not good for them. You know, hey, if you guys got any questions that you want hit me up with while we're live. And even if you're watching this video live or the recording, hey, feel free to hit Coach Smith up anytime with some questions. And I'll do my best to try to answer them or give my my viewpoint. I definitely thought, man, that hit against Shador in the game this past weekend, they should have not picked the flag up. That was a very low hit that was uncalled for. It could have been season-ending injury or career-ending injury. Man, how low he was hit. So we got to question the referees from that standpoint on why they chose to pick that flag up. You got to protect these guys, man. It's just it is what it is. Thank God he wasn't seriously hurt, but that's something that they need to go back to the drawing board and make sure they show up with the referees on that so that we don't see something like that again. But when you see that thing in slow motion, man, I mean, it just makes you cringe, right? And so thank God, like I say, he's okay. I think Deion doing his press conference and or his locker room conversation with the guys, they were drinking the Kool-Aid, right? Too much of the Kool-Aid, right? And they got humble, and they lost a game that they very well could have won and put themselves in the playoff picture. But hey, he still has shown great success this season, a lot of growth. But I'm excited. Like I said, I don't want to hear all this stuff about the excitement of college sports is going to be lost because of name, image, and likeness. Phooey on that mess. I haven't seen any loss of excitement of college sports, and definitely in football. And I think basketball is going to even bring it, as well as other sports that we see like lacrosse and soccer and baseball and softball and volleyball. All these great sports, man. These kids are busting their tail like we've always done. As a former college athlete, man, you just love having an opportunity to be to represent your school, right? That's always going. I don't care about the money part. That's not going to take away wanting to represent your school well and performing well of whatever school you're playing with. I don't care if you transfer every year. Okay, if that happens, I don't necessarily like all the transferring. I think some of the kids got to learn how to stay put, but but also I don't know every situation. So those young men and women got to do what's best for them, right? And they know about what's going on in the background than any of us do. And so, hey, I understand you got to do what you have to do to give yourself an opportunity to want to be successful and possibly maybe go to the next level if that's the case. But hey, it is what it is. But the game is still exciting to watch. There's still that, camaraderie. There's still that, those competitive games between schools that have great rivalry that's still going on. The Army, Navy, right? The Notre Dame Army game, all that stuff was exciting. So definitely think it's a great time in college sports, and definitely with football and basketball. So like I said, if you got any questions while we're on live or even the recording and you're watching this recording, you got some questions about things, great. But the other thing I want to hop on, that was a lot of talk or has been a lot of talk is about Deion Sanders possibly going to the pros, right? And I definitely don't think that's the case. And definitely he's not going. I think he, when it comes to college and having his boys, his son to be able to play for them, and they have the talent and ability to play for him at this level, and they've shown that. So enough of that stuff on whether they are good enough to play Power 5 football. I mean, it's in their blood, right? So let's, my son played Power 5 football. I played Division 2. Knew I had the talent to play Division 1, but I made sure that if I had kids and they were good enough to play a sport, that they were going to be able to play Division 1. I made a point to make sure I took care of those things because if any one of them had the desire to want to do it, and so my oldest son had that desire. He always worked hard and showed that he could play at that next level, and Deion kids have always shown that as well, and have proven that they deserve to be where they are, and him having them to be able to play at that level with him at Colorado. So there's no questions about that at all. But I don't think he wants to follow his kids at the pro level. There's a point in time that you got to let your kids go and move forward, especially when it goes to them moving from college to the pro level, and sometimes even with college, right? I had the blessing of coaching my kids in Little League in high school as one of their coaches where they played high school ball. Loved it, enjoyed it. I didn't coach them at their position, I coached other positions because I didn't want to have that, you know, situation. But of course, as a coach, you're always coaching every kid, whether it's your own or any other kid. Um, but as I said, there are been talk about maybe Deion hopping over to, coach Dallas. My own personal opinion, I think Deion has a desire to potentially want to coach Florida State, and that's my own opinion. That's my own selfish opinion. I don't know anything, I can't tell you that if that's true or not. I don't, I know people that grew up and played with Deion that I played college ball with personally. But I don't know him necessarily personally. And I'm not speaking on anything that I've heard. I'm just sharing my own personal opinion. But I do know right now with that young man, is like I said, Coach Smith loved the game 24/7. We're always going to talk about recruiting, whether it's male or female, or whether, whatever sport you play, you always hear me say recruiting is recruiting. We just have some new fancy tools, right, to help us to get get ourselves more exposure as a young athlete today than they did when I was growing up, right? You had to rely more on your coaches, right? And sometimes you have coaches that weren't always doing, I think, what they should be doing to help the young person in their recruiting. And I've always said, and I will always say, if as a coach, you're not in it to help these young people get to the next level, if they have the potential, you have to put your own little personal feelings aside and help groom and grow these young people, as well as sometimes dealing with the parent. And you can't have personal grudges and all that stuff. Just do your best to help teach them and be an example where they can always come back to you, even, because they will get things straight. But you do not hurt a young person's opportunity to go to college if you're a high school coach or a college coach, or whatever you're doing. Go do another business, okay? We're in the business of making sure we help young people be successful in life, and they're not going to be perfect. They're not going to always do everything right. They're not going to always listen to us when we want them to listen to us, but they have to be able to come back when they've been humbled and still get some help from you, coach. Whether you're a male or female coach, you should always be there for your young people. And I know there's some coaches who aren't. Okay, I know that personally. So like I said, like I was saying, with this young man, Deion just landed on a huge commitment at quarterback, and that's one reason why I don't think he will go to the NFL, because it would be a disservice for him to have that young man to commit. The young man's Juju, I believe it is, from Georgia, that just committed to Colorado to play quarterback. So I know from that, I don't see Deion leaving Colorado anytime soon. I'll give him maybe a couple of years and see what happens, what's going on with Florida State. But I will tell you this, that with that huge landing of that kid at quarterback that could have gone anywhere, he was the number 2 recruit in the nation. There's another young man, I can't think of where he is, can't remember exactly where he's from, but I think he's committed to Michigan. And I think they're trying to get him to decommit and go somewhere else. But he's the number 1 quarterback, the number 1 recruit in the nation, and the quarterback that Deion landed was the number 2 recruit in the nation. And so that's a huge deal for Deion to land that young man, right? And that young man has been playing quarterback since he was 14 years old, varsity football in Georgia, at a very powerhouse high school. And so we know Georgia has great football, just like Florida and Texas, right? And California and Ohio and Jersey, and Georgia's huge in high school sports. But that recruit that Deion just landed, he is not going anywhere, folks. He's not going to the NFL. He's not going to another college or anywhere right now. You can be rest assured on that. Deion is staying put at Colorado, and I would say at least for a couple of years, with that young man committing himself to come to Colorado. And I think it's great for college football. I know Deion is the young man already has a huge following on social media. He already has some great opportunities. And I'm sure Colorado is going to give him great opportunities with name, image, and likeness. And Deion's going to help him grow that platform for that young man even more, as he's done with these young men in Colorado since he's been there. And so it's going to be exciting to see where he can take Colorado next season. I think one thing that Deion needs to do is land some seriously good size and very athletic offensive linemen and old D linemen. I think that's where it's always up front, is where it always starts. And you got to have you some athletic guys. So for all you young athletes out there that play offensive line, that have good size, you need to get strong in the weight room. You need to go wrestle to help you with your footwork and your hand movement. When you got to block these strong and quick and fast D linemen, and especially you offensive tackles, you need to go throw the shot put in the discus and learn how to get low and sink your hips and spin and drop kickback. So when you pass block, you'll be able to catch these guys with your hopefully you got some long arms, right? And know how to get yourselves positioned. And while these guys are trying to swipe and do different things, you got to learn how to get your hands repositioned as an offensive lineman. And these guys are fast coming off the edge. And so you want to give yourself every advantage that you can as an offensive tackle. If you're a recruit or have the potential to be a high recruit at that O-line position as a guard and an offensive tackle. And so I would tell you, any kid right now that is listening to this, or any parent, that if you have an O-lineman, you need to get them in another sport like wrestling. Even basketball is good, helping with footwork. But I definitely would say, pass blocking, because it's a huge skill set that you as an offensive tackle need to have in your toolkit, right? Because these guys are coming off the edge and they're running 4-4, right? If you guys are running 4-3 coming off the edge. And so if you don't learn how to get a kickback, to deal with that speed coming off the edge and getting your hands in position to slow these guys down, because we throw the ball a whole lot more today than we did when I was growing up. And so the game has changed in that respect. And so that means you got to have a young man that can, pass block on the O-line. Okay. And it's very important that you hone that skill set, pass blocking. And then you got to get strong and have, good sized legs, strengthen your legs and your buttocks area, right? Your hamstrings, you got to have a lot of strength. You got to be able to sink your hips. I know you might be 6'6", but you're not going to play at 6'6". You're going to play at about 6'4", 6'3", because you got to be able to sink your hips and get down, because these edge rushers know how to get parallel to the ground and come off, and come off that when that ball is snapped. And if you're not prepared already, then you're going to be behind. And they're paying tackles well who do a good job of being able to pass block. And as I said, and you got to definitely be able to run block and move your feet, chop those feet and drive, learn how to engage on a double team and come off and keeping your head and your eyes up and knowing the concept that you're running on your, that your offensive coordinator is training you guys, and your O-line coach is training you guys. You got to learn how to, definitely, team block, right? And then come off that block and move up to the next level to a linebacker or whoever's coming in that gap that you're responsible for, whether it's a blitz or whatever the case may be. Keep your eyes up and understand how to, seal and help that guard or help that center when it's a double team, and then know how to come off that double team and move up to the next level. And then as a running back, I was a long play running back. I love helping my offensive tackles or my guard, but definitely my offensive tackles if I was ever kept in to help pass block or chip block, and help save my tackles. So as a running back, you got to be able to stay up high, right? You got to be strong. You got to be able to do a nice chip and leak out, to help for your quarterback to drop that ball down if you don't see anything downfield with any wide receivers getting open. And so you got to learn how to understand how the flow of the game goes, right, at your position as a running back. And then definitely as a receiver, you got to be able to get off the credit card. That's what we used to call it. If you can't get off the credit card, and if you don't understand what I mean when I say get up off the credit card, I mean get past the bump and run, right? Be able to beat man coverage, okay? You got to be able to do that, okay? And so that's definitely a huge skill set for if you're a wide receiver and you're able to, beat the bump and run coverage or man-to-man coverage. And then let's flip it. As a cornerback, you got to be able to have, not let a guy just beat you inside and kill you. You got to be able to take that inside leverage away from him. So especially when it's you're trying to get a first down on a short pass, you got to know what's coming. You got to do your homework. Every position, you got to do your homework and watch film of your opponent and see how good they are at what they do, right, at your position, your opponent, who you're going up against. But like I said, I don't think Deion Sanders will be going anywhere anytime soon from Colorado, with this young man, Juju, signing and committing to Colorado to be their next quarterback to replace Shador. And it's exciting to see that. And I definitely believe he will be starting. He will get his opportunity to definitely start for Deion at Colorado. So and this, Juju Lewis is the young man that is committed to Deion at Colorado. And man, I watched some of his film, some of his videos. And like I said, it was great to see the young man be on the Pat McAfee show, right? That's a big deal. You know, you got to be big time when you're on the Pat McAfee show and they're talking about where he announced his commitment to Colorado, okay, on ESPN this past week. That I got a chance to see that as well. So man, yeah. So let's get past all this stuff about Deion going to the NFL. You know, all this rumors they want to spread. Deion ain't going nowhere, no time soon. But as I shared earlier, I do think that if an opportunity came up at Florida State in the next couple of years, I could see Deion possibly doing that, and then maybe taking Juju with him. And that depends on what's going on in Colorado. If he sees a chance to improve his team greatly through the transfer portal, right, and with a few college recruits in there, we know soon. I know early signing date is coming up soon here in December, and then you're going to have it come up, later next year. And so you young athletes out there in football, you better be doing what you need to do. I know there's a lot of coaches that are following me in different sports that I've been hitting up on Twitter. And I've told you guys, Twitter is the home base for every college coach, for every college sport. And if you're not following coaches at every level, shame on you, because you've been told. And if you haven't reached out to me at love247game@gmail.com to request to purchase your professional email template or your professional sports profile that I already have made up for you. All you got to do is just look at what I put in there and put your own information in there. It's important that you have these things already set up so you can easily get these things to college coaches, because I always tell you, recruiting, it's all about what can you make easy for these coaches to review your information to help you gain exposure. And if you're not taking the time to email coaches and CCing the assistant coaches and grad assistants and recruiting coordinators and directors, as I've shared on a recent podcast or video that I put out there, I'm giving you guys the juice on what you need to do, and you can start that now, right? And I also said how you can start taking visits by going to college camps in whatever sport you play. That's a way to visit a school. That's a way for you to get connected with the coach or coaches at that particular school that you desire to go to, or multiple schools that you're interested in as a young person, right? Parents, hello, let's wake up, right? It can't always be you doing everything for your young person. You got to put some, they got to have some skin in the game. They got to have some sweat equity. All right, parents, you can't do everything. All right, you can purchase the template from me, right? It's $50 for the professional email that's already, template that I already designed in the professional sports profile. It's like a resume, right? And always have your links to view your videos, your highlight tapes, your game tape. You got to make things easy for college coaches. And then when you make it easy for them, make it easy for them to spot who you are, right? And you always tell them what your number is, right? You don't leave it for them guessing what number you are, okay? Always give all that information. Your name, your high school, your coach, your position coach, right? Your head coach. You make sure you give them your jersey number. You make sure on your video, you use those tools to highlight where you are on the field. And one definitely thing you want to do, especially depending upon, I don't care what sport you're playing, you always give a side angle, you always give like in football, you give a hit zone, right? Behind it. Defense always behind the offensive defense. So you definitely need to use that method of helping you gain exposure. But you got to look like you're the real deal. You got to show you're the real deal. You can't be sometimes, okay? That's when you get people saying, hey, you gotta be a dog. Yeah, you gotta be a dog. You can't be something. Right? You gotta be all in. Young athletes. You can't. That's something, they gotta wanna do. Right? That's something a young athlete has to wanna do. Right? You can only do so much. Right? We've always grew up in the story. I can lead a horse to water, but I can't get him to drink. Right? So we can lead it to where you need to go. You gotta drink. You gotta drink your mouth. You gotta drink your information. You gotta put it to work. Help you get to where you want to be. You gotta be able to pay those bills. got to be able to pay those bills when it's time to perform in your sport at your position. Right? So you got to be a team player. I love blocking for my running back because I know when I did it for my teammate and running back, he was gonna do it for me. Right? You got to be a team player. And I want to showcase myself a running back. I'm not just a runner. I'm a great pass blocker. I'm a great run blocker. I'm a teammate. I'm blocking down field. Right? I'm running my correct route. What am I supposed to do so I can open it up? Because I was a threat. When we got ready to play other teams, I was on their scouting report. That's who they need to watch out for. You want to be on people's scouting report. Right? And hey, if he or she gets going, we're in trouble. We gotta slow that. We gotta slow Smith. We want to keep people on that team, but we gotta slow that. Because if they get going, we might be in for a long day. And I used to tell guys on the football team, hey, get ready for you in for a long day. Get ready. So you young athletes out there, get your mind in. All you gotta do is just make your mind, put the work in. You make your mind up. You have great video. You make it easy for these college students to look at you and see if you can give you a scholarship, whatever level that may be. So mom and daddy can't play for you. Mom and daddy can't prepare for it. You gotta be prepared. You gotta be willing to make some sacrifices. Okay? So make the sacrifice. Right? Can't whine and cry about why I should do that. Why I'm not getting exposed? Why I'm not getting offered? Whatever. So you do what's necessary. So Smith and Shelley sharing this stuff with you. Let me know with you. Right, mom and dad, you gotta make these kids put their own sweat equity. And then they're gonna do what's necessary. And then they're gonna realize, okay, how when they smell victory and get that scholarship on they're looking for because of the hard work they put in. Right? And then they start getting paid because of all the hard work, dedication, and team players. When I look at video, I gotta see. You gotta stand out. You gotta make sure you make it easy for these college coaches and recruiters, grad assistants, and looking for the next several athletes that they need to help take their program to the next level. Are you that person? Are you that person that will help transcend and move this program to the level that they're success they're looking to go they want to be? And they decide to give you and offer you that scholarship because they feel like you're a part of that special group of people that they offer this year, right? And and you sign that scholarship, that they feel like, that puzzle that they're missing at your position is going to help catapult them and elevate them. Do you want to be that guy, young man? Well, if you do, then put the work in. So my email should be play. Purchase my professional email system, my professional sports profile system. My email should be play. It'll save you time. I'm trying to save you time. I'm trying to save you a headache, trying to figure out what to say and what to do. That's what Love the Game 24/7 Coach Smith is all about, trying to save you some time. So you can spend more time developing yourself. So you can make sure that when you get ready to play and perform that game, you stand out like you need to stand. You may not stand out scoring touchdowns in football or scoring points. But you may be setting up your teammates in dishes, giving them assists. They may be scoring the ball. But it all happens because you got your game together. And then if you are scoring, then be that scorer that you're supposed to be up your teammates. Do that. But you gotta put time in. Everybody doing something else. Getting the clothes, but you're in the gym taking extra shots. Right? Practice over before practice gets started. Right? In football field, doing extra gas. You don't get winded during the game because I'm gonna leave it all on the field. Right? I gotta take some extra, hits in baseball. Right? I gotta go, get my little brother, my little sister, get that ball machine going for me. Taking over my dad or my mom or somebody, throwing some softballs at me to get some extra shine, change the ball, whatever we call it today. Right? You gotta get somebody gotta shag the ball so you us may have messed up a little bit, or we want to be sure that we give you these insights so that you go far, further than what we did. So that's what it's all about. So you should hit me up with love the 247 game, love the 247 game at gmail.com to get your professional email and professional sports profile so you can get these things out to these college coaches. Right? And I also wanted to share before I get off here, I got a new format coming. I'll share more about that. I'm excited about doing but I got a new format coming in real life as far as interviews that I'll be doing. So I'm excited about that. So that'll be coming real soon. I got to get some things scheduled. Get those things scheduled here this week. I will be dropping some info about this new format I'll be adding to my live podcast. So I'm excited about that. I think it's going to be huge to help some young athletes learn more about how to get themselves more exposed. But I'm doing my part, busting my tail on my social media platform on Twitter, following community college coaches in different sports, so I can build relationships. Young people out there get some great information on how to get through this recruiting process. So I appreciate you guys joining me today briefly. I didn't want to be too long today. I just wanted to just get back. I know I've been busy with some refereeing football. After that, I had some refereeing scrimmages. Leaders refereeing game, and trust me, it ain't easy. I know I'm learning more and more about how hard it is. These referees out here, they do a great job of preparing themselves, and I'm learning how to do a great job of learning this new skill set. Refereeing, I'm still out here in the recruiting process, helping these young athletes prepare to gain more knowledge. And I'm preparing for the offense, defense, all-star game out in Dallas, Texas. I'll be out there with my grandbabies, as well as being out there for the offense, defense, all-star game. So I'm excited about what's coming in the end of the year and what I'm going to be doing in the new year. I want you guys to do everything you can to make your dreams of getting a scholarship in your sport. I'm teaching you about how to gain more exposure, how to get yourself out there more, get the responses that you're looking for from these college coaches. You need to get out there and visit, doing camps, meeting coaches, giving good handshakes, giving good eye contact, so you guys can learn how to do interview well, learn how to make sure that you always take time to go to these things. You don't leave without speaking to the coach and find out who the head coach is, assistant team, position coach, bad assistants, director of recruiting, and all those things. All those people are always out there at camp in their sport. You have the opportunity to do these things, so you got to make sure you do that. You take the time to do that. And you get to these colleges. Right, because they're the ones that are giving the scholarships. You need to get in their face. You need to get in front of them. You need to shake some hands. You need to be confident in telling the coach, hey, I'm doing my part, coach, to get developed. And that's why I'm here. I believe I can play the next level. I want to be here. I want to come in and do it. You don't want to do a whole lot of talking. You want to do yes and no talking, but you want to do more action on that field and more sport. There's no question. No question you have potentially at that particular school if you take the time to go visit. You show love to those schools who are showing you love. Okay? You don't hate. There's some schools because of who they are. They have the pick of the list of who they are. The top athletes. All the top athletes can't go. Right? Same for one school. Right? Only so many top athletes can go to school. Coaches realize they can't get all these 5-star, these so-called 5-stars. I tell you some of this stuff always goes on. You got these stars that you're in the league. So you want to be sure whatever star you are, bling like you should be bling or better. Right? You're a 3-star, you might should be a 5-star. These coaches can't get all 5 stars. They need some 4 stars and 3 stars and some 2 stars. Make up these things in your sport. Okay? So sure you learn and all you'll get is get understanding. All you get is get understanding. As a coach, I never want to do my best. I never lose when you learn to coach. I want to coach. I want to get every scenario possible. I'm ready to play a game. I don't want to leave you. I'll take it when I get right. It can happen sometimes, right? But I do my best to watch video. Other coaches, head coaches need to watch film in our position, find out what, look at the lines you got in football, running back, you got an even front or arm, right? Nose guard is covering up my center, even if they're offset a little bit, gap, either side, they're potentially an arm front, but they're covering up my center. The center is not covered up, you know it's an even front. So when I run certain plays, I know what my cut is. Watching the film and his team, I found their tendencies. Right? When I find their tendencies, oh boy, here we go. Now watch film, I did my own. Right? I'm watching and reading before the ball snaps. I'm looking to see how the line shifts and everything that they're doing. I'm looking, the first thing I look at is, is my center covered up? My center ain't covered up, or is a trap happening, or it's a zone read happening? I know it's a hard front or an even front. The offensive, the defensive line, and I'm the running back, right? Or if I know a certain pass been called, I know I got to flip to the linebacker. Where's my eye? Where am I? Where is the full game? Right? You got to know these things. What you're doing. Know your assignment. Know what you're doing. Right? So you can have success. So you can earn that scholarship opportunities, at that level that you desire to play. And let's not, even despise small beginnings either, right? If you ever go down a level, and then maybe transfer, because they're taking transfer portal players that are developed because they played a year or two in college. Hey, if that's what you have to do, do it. And do it with the right attitude. I appreciate you guys joining me on IG and YouTube and Facebook Live, right? But like I've told you, parents, in this message, whether you're watching it live or the recording, you can't do everything for your kid. They gotta put in some sweat equity. They gotta do their part. And like I said, my email should be email to purchase my professional email template to help you get more responses from college coaches. Oh, I know what to do to get responses from college coaches from programs. And that's why I have that professional email template, and for you young athletes out there who want to learn how to get more responses from college coaches, hey, I already have the letter made up. All you gotta do is just put your information in there. All you have to do is just purchase my template, because it's all about making things easy for college coaches to recruit you. Right? They gotta know your number. They gotta know who you are. You gotta highlight yourself right on your videos when you send that stuff. Right? You gotta do your part so they'll know who you are. And when they look at your video, you gotta stand out in knowing what you're doing. Right? So those are some important things that you parents got to understand. Don't do everything for your athlete. Have them do some things. Sit down with them and then say, hey, by this date and time, I need to see several emails I need to see this template that we purchased from Coach Smith. I need to read it, proofread it, and make sure it's ready to go. And make sure you have several on a Word document for every coach and team that you're going to send it to, on a workbook, on a Microsoft Word document already typed up, so you can copy and paste it and put it in the email. And make sure you email the head coach, and then you make sure you email every assistant coach, position coach, grad assistant, right? And you do this all at once. You don't want to send 10 different emails, because I've shared on that podcast, every head coach, it trickles down. He's going to pass it on to his assistant coaches, and the assistant coaches are going to pass it on to the grad assistants, and the grad assistants will use the student workers to help them do some things with, looking at video and all those things, because they know what the head coach is looking for, and they know what the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, the position coach, they know what they're looking for. And so these grad assistants are going to do the grunt work. They're going to do most of that grunt work and looking at videos, and then pass it on to recruiting coordinators or directors of recruiting, and they're going to get with the coaches and say, "Oh, here are the players that are when we looked at things." And your professional email needs to be concise and short, because they don't read long emails. And so I shared all this in my college sports recruiting one-on-one video I put out there. So hey, be sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Be sure you get out there and look at the videos and share them with others who are trying to get recruited. Right? Don't be selfish. Help somebody else's dreams come true. That's what I'm doing. I want my dream to come true with me growing my YouTube channel and my viewership. And so that's why I'm giving this great information and content to you young athletes out there. Right? I'm doing it as much as I can. Right? And I'm getting college coaches in all different sports following me that I follow on Twitter. And you young athletes need to do the same. So parents, put them to work. Right? You putting money out there for them because you believe that they have what it takes, and they potentially they may have what it takes, and they need to get developed, but they need to put some sweat equity in it as well, so they appreciate it better when they earn that scholarship. And mom and dad don't have to pay for your education. All right, they've already done it by the equipment and all other things and the training and all the different stuff that they put money out for. It's time for you to be able to give back to your mom and dad or whoever it was that put out for you, okay, to help you develop in your sport. And you'll earn that scholarship. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys joining me. But like I said, I got a new format that are going to be coming. I'll make some more announcement about that as I schedule some of these new interviews that are coming up, and I'll share with you about those interviews. But I think it's going to be a great format that I'll be adding to my live, and I'm looking forward to it. And it's coming to you very soon. I plan on having at least something going while I'm on Thanksgiving break or right after. So just look for Coach Smith, right? And follow me on my YouTube. Love the Game 24, the _7 for Love the Game 24/7, right? With Coach Smith. And like I said, get out there and subscribe, man. Hit that subscribe button. Get out there and view my stuff. Share it. Help me grow my channel. Let's help get the word out there to help some of you young people get that scholarship that you feel like you deserve. Well, you got to put some work in it, and let's do it. All right. Well, y'all take care. Have a great week. All right. Be blessed. And I'll see you and talk to you again soon. All right.